Hey y'all, I'm checking in and also um, letting you know that I am starting a new series. This is probably going to be a limited run because I will probably run out of content on this particular subject at some point. Um, but yeah, we're going to start discussing medical neglect, the reasons for it, why it happens. It doesn't happen everywhere. Places like here in Kansas City, you don't see a lot of it because there are so many options as far as doctors and hospitals, and um, there's a high level of turnover. If you get a doctor that's not doing a good job, people will leave that doctor and go to somebody that is doing a good job. So there's a lot of incentive here in Kansas City and larger municipalities that have more than one hospital. Thank you, Luke. Um, to actually take good care of their patients. However, if you live in a small town that only has one hospital and it's far enough away from any other hospital that the people in that town, especially if it's a blue collar or less town, um, those people don't have a choice. The hospital and the doctors that are available in that town, that's what they've got, and a lot of the time, those doctors know it. This is going on in my hometown right now. This is happening to a dear friend right now. She is suffering from this kind of neglect right now, and she is facing the dire consequences of this neglect. I will go into this further in future episodes, why she in particular is encountering this problem, why a lot of people like her encounter this problem. And yeah. So I went down on Friday to try to bring her up here to Kansas City so that we could start her transition from Bartlesville to Kansas City. That did not happen. That could not happen because she was not fit to travel. Um, by the time I left Saturday morning, she had fallen and she was not able to stand or bear weight at all. So there was no way I could get her in and out of my van, not even with help. It just wasn't going to happen. So that was very disappointing. Um, I had to come back to Kansas City on my own because I had to work Saturday and I had to work Sunday. So I had to come back. I didn't have a choice. I also had Jane with me, and she hadn't gotten a chance to get out and run around all that much. And she needs to run at least once or twice a day, get out and do a full unbridled run. And she hadn't had the opportunity to do that. And she was suffering because of that. So I had to bring her home as well. Um, Saturday night, well, we'd been seeing some signs that she was starting to suffer the effects of having been without the antibiotics that keep the infection in her panis at bay. It kind of keeps things in stasis. Well, she'd gone without it for 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, she had started to go septic. And Saturday night, she went fully septic and she went into septic shock. She was briefly dead. Thank God they were able to get her back. They took her back to the hospital. They put her in the ICU, and now treating her like the high goddess queen, but that doesn't make out for the fact that they've neglected her uh, to the point where she has to be in the ICU. And the abusive situation that she's been in, that she's still in, because being fully disabled sucks and it makes it 200 times harder to get anything done. Um, it's just, I'm sorry, I'm frustrated. I'm really, really frustrated and I'm really, really angry um, because I'm 3 hours away. And even if I was right there, there's not a lot that I could fucking do. But this is one of the purposes of this channel is to give me a place where I can go and I can say, "Hey y'all, I'm struggling. I'm fighting. I'm trying and I'm drowning." I mean, I am seriously drowning here mentally because there's things I want to do and I just can't. But yeah, I told her, um, don't ask for a transfer to Kansas City, demand it. You're going to be in the hospital a while anyway, because of the neglect that Jane Phillips Medical Center has perpetrated on you for over 10 years. Oh, yeah, I'm putting those fuckers on blast. I don't care. They need to know this is not okay. And people are paying attention to what they are not doing for their patients, to what they are allowing to happen to their patients. Yeah, I am fucking saying something because this is not okay. Nobody should experience the level of neglect she has for the number of years that she has simply because she's on a fixed income, because she's fully disabled, and she's on Medicaid because she's on a fixed income and she's fully disabled. I mean, this is not rocket science. And it shouldn't matter whether you have $0 in the bank or a million. You should still be able to get proper medical care where you're not ending up septic and in cardiac arrest and fucking septic shock with a 50-pound panis that nobody was willing to explore. And now we find out it's cancerous. Yeah, spoiler alert. The panis that she has repeatedly over the last 3 or so years asked they they study, that they test, that they figure out what's going on with it. She's over and over asked that they do something with it, that they do something about it, that they check on it, that they make sure that it's not cancerous. So many times she's asked this, and every single time they didn't want to touch it. They didn't want to do anything with it. They didn't want to explore it. Well, now it's cancerous. Dude, that ain't right. That is so not cool. I am afraid for her. I am afraid for her daughter. And I just want them to be somewhere where I can help take care of them. It's like, what? In one of the richest countries in the fucking world, we're having to deal with this because the medical professionals in her community that were responsible for making sure she was okay didn't think it was worth doing their job. This should not be happening. She should not be in this situation, but she is because I don't know, lazy doctors who are fucking aware that they have a captive audience. There's a fucking medical code of ethics. It's not just first do no harm. It is also treating your patient like a human being, treating your patient like you would want to be treated. I guarantee you that the doctors that were neglecting my friend were not neglecting their rich lawyer patients, were not neglecting one of the few Phillips employees that still lives in town, that still works downtown. I guarantee you that. Those people were getting top notch care. But somebody like my buddy, just because she's lower income, she gets to die. Of course, she's not going to die because we're not going to let that happen. Because one way or another, we're going to get her up here and we are going to get her taken care of. Right, Luke? We're going to get my buddy taken care of. Yeah, we're not going to let cancer get her, are we, bud? No, we're not. Because cancer's a dick. And we have a rule. Be a good human. Don't be an asshole. Right, buddy? Yeah? Be a good human. Don't be a jerk. That's what we do around here. So, yeah, be looking for more on this. I'll probably do part one later on tonight or tomorrow evening. Yes, I am going to do that beyond the veil. Um, I've just been too out of sorts to focus on that. All of my mental resources are tied. I've been tied up in trying to get my buddy into a place where we can actually get her where she needs to be. I mean, I've been having to double dose my Lexapro just to keep things together. Well, double dosing my Lexapro plus taking my emergency anxiety meds. I'm not good. I'm not in a good place because this shit should not be happening. My friend should not have almost died. Well, technically, she did die and they brought her back. But that should not have gotten to the point where it happened. Especially because we were being vocal about it. We were being vocal, extremely vocal about it. She was, her daughter was, I was, and we got ignored. And that's not okay. And so I am going to expose this dirty little underbelly, the dirty underbelly of my hometown, and the dirty underbelly of medical care because people need to know about this. People need to see this. People need to be aware that it happens. And it happens a lot because the more awareness we have that this goes on, the more we can advocate for the people who deserve just as good a care as the multimillionaire down the street. I mean, seriously, we live in one of the richest countries in the freaking world. And we have people that are experiencing medical neglect simply because they're poor, because they're completely physically disabled, because they're extremely morbidly obese through no fault of their own. I this is just so fucking frustrating to me. I never thought that I would be having to make a video like this. I never thought that I would be having to discuss something like this because somebody that I know and care very much about is fighting this battle, fighting a battle that they shouldn't be having to fight because of this. I don't like to end a video on a downbeat, but I don't really, there's no up to this. So be looking for more on this. And just remember that you're important. You are worthy. You're worthwhile. You are absolutely beautiful exactly the way you are. You're loved and you deserve to be loved. And you know what? I love you. I love each and every one of you. Because, I mean, if people can hate for no reason, I can love because I want to, because I can, because I care. So, my beautiful lovies, I'll see you later. Don't forget to love yourselves.